Magsugal ka na nga lang ulit doon.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jamie B. Gutierrez, and for today's talk show, we invite different person to tackle. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jamie B. Gutierrez, and for today's talk show, we invite different person to tackle about different literacies. Let's all welcome our very own Mr. John Andre Mapalad and Miss Icy Sanchez to tackle about digital literacy.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mapalad and Miss Sanchez, for accepting. Ulit na. Thank you, Mr. Mapalad and Miss Sanchez, for accepting our invitation in tackling digital literacy.
Oh, it's our pleasure to be invited here in the most famous talk show in the Philippines. So, what are we waiting for? So, let's start.
Oh, tas ako na. Mr. Mapalad, may friend. Bilang trigo. So, Mr. Mapalad, my first question is, what is digital literacy?
For me, the definition of digital literacy is depends on the person who's utang. For me, the definition of digital literacy is depends on the person who's you're asking with. For an example, in Wikipedia, digital literacy defined as the set of competencies required for full participation in society that includes knowledge, skills, and behavior involving the effective use of digital devices for purpose of communication, expression, collaboration, and advocacy. But for me, in my humble opinion, digital literacy is the ability to access, manage, understand, integrate, communicate, evaluate, and create information safely and appropriately through information. Mali. But for me, in my humble opinion, digital literacy is the ability to access, manage, understand, integrate, communicate, evaluate, and create information safely and appropriately through digital technologies for employment, decent jobs, and entrepreneurships. It includes competences that are variously referred to as computer literacy, ICT literacy, and information literacy, and media literacy. Digital literacy consists of equipping people with ICT concepts, methods, and skills to enable them to use and exploit ICTs. The related concept of information literacy consists of providing people with concepts and training in order to process data and transform them into information elements of information, culture and its ethical aspects, as well as methodological and ethical aspects for communication in the digital world.
Meron pa.
Meron pa? Meron pa ba?
Oo, yun. Ako na yung Jerry.
Ah,
Hindi mo siya na mababa?
hindi, okay na.
Okay lang. Go na.
Ah,
Mr. Mapalad, we do have a similar definition of digital literacy, but I want to add something. Digital literacy, it can also mean an individual ability to access both information and methods of communication through technological tools such as smartphones, tablets, laptops, and desktops. Well, digital literacy is initially focused on digital skills and stand alone. Computers, its focus has shifted to networks, devices, included the internet and the use of social media. It was simply the ability of an individual to engage with digital environment and operate technology safely by knowing what to do and what to not do.
Ako na ba?
go.
So, the two of you mean that we really need digital literacy in today's world.
Cut mo. Absolutely yes, Miss Jamie. Especially in Absolutely yes, Miss Jamie. Especially in teaching, we really need to know how digital literacy works because as time goes by, digital literacy is altering other literacies. We always need to consider that we are in the digital age and our future students will be digital natives. These people are intuitive learners, extremely social, and more focused on their gadgets. They are also multimedia oriented, and there's a possibility that we can keep up with them in the future. So it's important that we give importance in integrating digital literacy as our learning modalities to teach our students. We really need to understand that in the past 5 years, the digital universe has grown by 1,000%. Just looking at these numbers, you can imagine how far it will become in the future. And also in the 21st century education, 46% of the teachers say their homework requires technology. In the other hand, 94% of the students say they use technology to do homework, and obviously it includes us. And we can't deny the fact that we are depending on our technology, but we always remember this, that today teachers must be innovators, mentors, entrepreneurs, motivators, illuminators, and catalysts because preparing students for the 21st century isn't just about technology or skills for the global economy. 21st century education is about creativity, cultural awareness, problem solving, innovations, civic management, communication, productivity, and collaboration. But we as a future educators, of course, we can't deny how digital literacy is important in our lives.
Earlier, Mr. Mapalad mentioned that digital literacy is altering other literacies. Ms. Sanchez, what is your opinion about this?
Yes.
How the...
pala.
Di pa tapos na
Sorry.
eh?
Go.
Earlier, Mr. Mapalad mentioned that digital literacy is altering other literacies. Ms. Sanchez, what is your opinion about this? How does digital literacy alter other literacies?
Yes, it really alters other literacies because of information communication and technology. A learner could experience various forms of communication beyond text. We can now see various information from videos, infographics, podcasts, and they will now practice designing this information and experiment in creating their own multimedia content to convey messages effectively. Because of ICT and internet, the learner could start identifying credible sources online and evaluating the reliability of this information. They could now start adapting and create other text in different platforms, and show they thoughtfully students nowadays wait lang, wait lang.
Go.
And they could now learn on how to engage digital content thoughtfully. Students nowadays, because of information communication technology, can engage with articles of websites and that include hyperlinks that can help them to understand, navigate line early. They could practice synthesizing information from multiple sources and critically analyzing interconnected contents. We need to understand that ICT facilities communication and collaboration on global scale. Literacy now involves the ability to engage the diverse audiences, cultures, and viewpoints. This includes understanding different cultural norms, languages, and communication styles. But I can say the literacy is good at all. Users must understand how media shapes perceptions, biases, and ideologies. We need to identify media-based biases and propaganda techniques to utilize digital literacy. We must make an action because sometimes digital literacy can have negative effects to people, mostly students nowadays. Some are victims of false information and un- credibility, or their sources are not legit.
Huwag ka kasi yung tinanggal.
Go.
So, how can we check or avoid fake news?
That's a good question. So, first, we need to consider the checklist of credibility criteria. First is the author. So, you need to check the credentials of the author, the company, and determine the qualifications to provide information. Second is the date. Look for copyright information at the bottom of the website homepage. And if the site is more than few years old and it has been updating regularly, look for more update information. You also need the purpose. What is the purpose of the information? Is it propaganda or some credible sources? If you're looking for some sources, analyze the goals of the website. For some sources, analyze the goals of the website to determine if it is informational or an advertisement site. You also need to look for the contact. Some of the most credible sources list down their contact information such.
Go.
You also need to look for the contact. Some of the most credible sources list down their contact information such as telephone number, email, or mailing address so that users may get in touch if they have questions. So, considered also the word fact versus opinion. In most cases, for an example, researchers. So, we need to look for the factual information provided by experts rather than opinions. Be on the lookout for biases. Two, if the author is biased so as the information on the site. Last but not the least, look for the URL. So URL may look like ending or the edu. For an example, edu is for education, org is for organization, .com is for commercial. To help the site's credible sources is not the easy not easy. Sometimes students don't need to plagiarize, we know that. But they end up doing accidentally because they are unaware or unaware of it.